Hey everyone, so I can finally show you the end product. This is the hardware that is all done now. The past week or so I've been going over, obviously always, as with everything, the devil is in the details. So these are my final notes of little things that need to be changed in production. But here we have the SP-2400. So I know a lot of you are pretty new to the game, so what I'm going to do real quickly is give you a quick tour of the ports on the back and what to expect. So I'm going to just turn the machine around. And this will be a reasonably brief video because there's going to be a lot more videos coming up soon as we start dropping in all of the code and everything that we've done for sequencing and all of that stuff. So the SP-2400 now is a stereo machine with 8 individual channel outs, and this is our mix out, and channels can be independently panned left and right to a stereo mix bus. I know this was always a very wished feature. I've gone ahead and added 2 phono inputs. Now, one of these actually also doubles up as a line level input, just because if that's, if you're coming straight out of a CD player or something like that. But we've got 2 phono preamps, and in future firmware updates and stuff like that, we're going to be able to do things like read timecode vinyl. So you might want to control full tracks using the SP-2400, and that'd just be a really cool feature. It was something I wanted, that's why it went in there. I know a lot of people keep asking about the Phono Preamps. So yeah, there's 2 independent Phono Preamps, and they should also be able to be used for timecode somewhere down the line. We've also then got inputs 1 to 4. Excuse the fact that not all of them have got their little nuts on the back. I've really just finished putting this, doing all the final tweaks and putting this machine together. So we've got the 4 inputs, and also 2 of those inputs are switchable to be on the phono inputs, as I said. So you can either have phono or line level on one pair of those. We've got our input trim, MIDI in, out and through. We've also got a clock pulse in and out. May actually also be able to be configured to do other things somewhere down the line, but for now that would do things like send a clock pulse to things like Volkers and your older gear, maybe like Lindrums and Juno 60s and stuff like that, to keep your arpeggiator in sync. SD card, pretty self-explanatory. We haven't actually quite got to what the limit is so far. I think 32 gig is the biggest card I've got. Well, I know there are bigger cards, so I need to do some further testing. In any case, I think 32 gigs worth of samples in a machine like this is more than enough. So if 32 gigs the limit, that's what it is. The SD card is also going to be used for firmware updates. Now, this is one of the problems we've had with ChordBot along the way, is things like macOS change, and then our firmware update apps get broken. So we're doing away with having to use any Windows or Mac updater applications. And so what we'll do is we'll just give you the file to download, and you can put it on your SD card, which brings me to the USB host port. Now the USB device and USB host. Now USB host will be able to be used for things like a lot of the MIDI controllers and things like that you get nowadays don't have MIDI ports on them. They only have USB class compliant MIDI. So that will be very useful for things like this, for the USB host. This means that you can directly plug in a MIDI controller like that, or a little MIDI controller like this using the USB host port, and that way you don't have to have any integration with a computer. And of course the USB device. Now the USB device, which I've spoke about briefly in the past, we have now clarified the fact that we can do 8 channels of audio over the USB device. So to your computer, be that a Mac or a PC, the SP-2400 will masquerade as an 8-channel audio interface. Also, the USB device the machine can be in different modes. So one of those modes is you might not want to take this SD card out. So if you've just downloaded a firmware update, or you've got some samples and stuff that you want to spit to the SD card, the SP-2400 can be turned on so that it will appear to your computer as a disk drive. And that disk drive will actually be whatever you've got put in the SD card. So you don't have to pull the card out, put it into your computer, and then put it back in the machine again. You'll just be able to spit files over USB. Some people already pointed out that it's a bit weird that the power socket is upside down, and they might be right. Actually, this socket can go either way, up or down. I actually prefer the power switch underneath there because it's a bit more protected from being accidentally hit. But we might put that up to a vote and see if you want the switch on the top or on the bottom. Obviously on my unit, because I'm doing a lot of lots of programming and stuff going on, so I need these little wires poking out the side, which is why I don't have one of the aluminium sides on. But they came out nice in the end. They are brushed aluminium and then anodized. From the last enclosure, you'll probably see that there are some changes. You know, we've got the logo here, we've got our headphone output there, which is also independent. Again, that will help with things like DJing. I'm sorry about the clicky noise in the background. That's Ben eating his bone a bit loudly. The headphones is independent monitoring. So again, like I said, if you want to be DJing or whatever you might want to be doing, you might want to cue something up independently through the headphones. So essentially that is kind of like another 2 channels of audio. There isn't an awful lot new in the video for me to be able to show you right now in terms of functionality, because where we're at now is that this hardware is now back to sort of square one with what the original prototype was, except that of course this is all brand new hardware inside, because we've got stereo panning and all of those other things that we didn't have in the original hardware prototype. But I think we've actually gotten to this stage really quickly, considering that we did that huge change to go stereo and all that kind of stuff. So I'm proud of the team and everything we've pulled together and got this done. There has been a bit of a lull in the past couple of weeks, but we've just pulled through. There's been a lot going on with me moving to a new house and workshop, so we're all set up here now. It's taken a bit of time to get the lab. I know it looks a complete mess right now, but you can see that we've got all of this extra space now, so there's going to be plenty of room to be assembling all of these machines. I don't really know what to show you here. I can go through some of the it's crashed there because I pulled the SD card out, didn't I? So let it boot up again. And so at the moment, like the original machine, we've got 4 banks that you can use at once. So there's 32 available sounds to you, and you'll be able to swap them in between pads and different stuff like that. You remember, I don't think we had these in the original prototype, but we've now got the 16 extra buttons. Let me some basses. Hear those artifacts coming in when the thing isn't at original pitch. See, they'll disappear there. And then if we play that again, going down the pitches, you instantly hear all that grit. Now, at the moment, these faders are set to 16 steps, which is the same as the OG machine. But these faders will be able to be set to be a different amount of steps, but also free pitch, so that there won't be any stepping. as there is in this one. We've also still the filters. I'm in loop mode, I think. I should really learn how to use my own machine, shouldn't I? There we go. It's a bit of a slow. Let me go on to a drum sample for that. In bank C, I think. Right. So that's just cut off. And then we can ramp up the resonance. And of course, when the machine's released, we'll also, now those are digital filters that you're listening to there that already sound pretty good. But of course, when we release the product, we'll also be releasing some analog daughter boards for separate filters. But at the moment, there is still an individual sweepable filter on every single voice. And then there'll be a production boards that will have the analog filters. So now that we've got the hardware set in stone, there's as I pointed out, there's a few little changes to make as they go into production. The computer boards are already, I think they're already actually on the line, but we've still got the user interface board, which is this big board here with all the magic stuff on it. And the audio output and jack boards, they're now, I can now okay them with their small modifications to go into production. So there are lead times on some of this stuff, and to actually make things come together faster, we're going to be placing the faders and the pots by hand here. That way these boards can start going into manufacture straight away. I'm estimating now that shipping is going to begin late February. That gives us now, almost 2 months for all these boards to be produced and the enclosures to be produced. And stuff should be here in around about 6 weeks. So I would estimate around 2 weeks after that is when we'll start shipping out the first units. So in between now and then, you'll start seeing lots more little snippet videos of, showing you the features and stuff as we add them. A couple of these units are going to be going to the more technical testers of the team. And then the rest of the guys that you see on the website will be getting units as well that are going to be giving us valuable input. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that. There's not an awful lot there in terms of features, but there has been a lot of coding and development being done in the background. It's just not all being put together and put into this particular machine as of yet, because I'm the only person with these machines now, but these are about to go out to the developers and everything. So we've got there. In the end, it's taken us a little bit longer, but the hardware is all good. Proof of concept, everything works. I'm chuffed to bits. And it sounds good. So thank you so much for your patience, and keep watching, and all the updates will be coming to you soon. Thanks, guys.